Brad Leland, Texas actor, born in Lubbock, Texas.
That's right.
Huge resume: Veep, Parks and Rec, CSI Miami, Friday Night Lights, and then on the on TV, and then on the film side, Friday Night Lights, Hancock, The Patriot, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some of the stuff that stuck out to me. One of the other things that stuck out to me about you is you have a bachelor's in acting and directing.
Yes.
Which means you've had your career path in mind for a long time.
I did.
Okay.
I did. And I was lucky that way because,
Yeah.
you know, like a lot of boys, I'm going to be a pro athlete.
Right,
you know,
right,
you're growing up. And yet always there was that performance side of me because my mother was a dance teacher her entire life. I was always going to be that, like all kids, you know, I was going to be that pro football player. And yet I always had choir on the side, and I was always in doing the drama club. And then in high school, got really interested in it and tore up my knee. So I'm not going to be a football player. I'm not going to be an athlete. And then by the time I went to college, I was majoring in acting, and I knew that's what I wanted to do.
So how important is education versus experience in your opinion, or you know, which one do you?
Well, I always tell young actors that you should be in the theater first, or try, because that's where the training comes, and that's where the really hard work comes. And then once you start getting in front of cameras, whether it be, you know, television, which is one sort of style and craft in itself, as opposed to the way it happens on a film set, but all of those things that an actor really needs to know, you learn in the theater, in those beginning acting classes, and just being on stage.
So what was your break into the Hollywood system?
You know, the first thing that really happened was Dallas. Just a few months later, I got a call to audition for this film, and it was my first film, and I started seeing the names in it, and I saw Danny Glover and Kevin Kline and Kevin Costner and Brian Dennehy and Jeff Goldblum and all these names, and the director being Lawrence Kasdan, and that film was Silverado. And so Silverado was my first feature film, and for a young actor just getting started in the business, that was awesome.
How old were you?
I was 27, or, you know, just late 20s. So now I had Dallas, the most watched television show in the world, on my resume, and I had Silverado, which was a giant Hollywood picture at the time. So that was a good start. That's what sort of started it. And then they suddenly thought, well, maybe he can do this.
You're very seasoned, very experienced, you know. But are there
got
still
some
things?
Got some years.
Right. Are there still some things you'd like to improve on as an actor?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things that's hardest for me to do, as much as I like dialects, one of the hardest things for me to do is have no regional sound at all. You know, that standard American broadcast English that the newscasters have, or that some people have. You know, lots of people from the Midwest or from New York think they don't have an accent. You know, when you're from Fargo and you say, what accent? You know, and your hoser's okay. Yeah. I live in Fargo, Minnesota, and you have such a funny accent. You know, it's like, are you kidding? What do you think that is? So that's the tough one for me, is the one where it's nothing.
Last night I put out on Facebook, you know, I'm gonna be interviewing you. Are there any questions? And it was like 1 a.m. So of course, fortunately, I got 2 serious responses. So one of those
I'm not surprised you didn't get more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got a ton of responses, but my friends are jackasses, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and then they're very happy.
Right.
Yeah, their questions are askew for some reason.
So I got a pretty good one. Remy Carter, which actually I think you're in a film that he was a producer on.
Flutter,
yes,
Flutter,
that's it. Yeah. So he had a question. Yeah.
Flutter.
Yeah. So he had a question. What was the creative leeway like on Friday Night Lights, and how did that help you develop your craft as an actor?
That was one of the most wonderful things about it, is that we had complete freedom to do whatever we wanted, and they told us that from the very beginning. We sort of came together in the beginning, and a lot of the main characters were around the table, and we had dinner with Peter. And he told us at that first meeting, and the producers were there and some of the writers were there, and they said, you know what? These are your characters. Here's the script, but this is like a blueprint. And if you don't feel like this is right, you say what you think is right. you know, there'd be times when Kyle and I would, Chandler, the coach, would have a scene, and say it's a 2-page scene between Buddy and the coach, and come in and we'd look at it, and Kyle, what do you think about this? What do you think about this scene? And I'd say, oh, I like it. And he goes, yeah, I do too, but I'm not, you know, I don't think I should say any of this stuff. You just talk. I was like, okay, that sounds good. He goes, so you just say all this, and then I'll just leave. Okay, and it would work, you
right.
know? So lots of times we'd have that. Kyle would give his look at me, his, you know, or his, you know, buddy, you know, or whatever. And so that's the way it worked a lot of times. We just went, hey, let's just go for it.
A Facebook friend, Dimitri, asked, where do you think Texas film will be in the next 10 years?
As far as I'm concerned, it's already at or near the top. We have so many people working here now, so many young people creating their own films. A film such as Boyhood that just came out, I mean, that's a classic masterpiece, in my opinion. I'm going out on a limb by saying that, but there's been no other film, documentaries, but to take a piece of fiction and a story and tell it over 12 years, use the same actors, watch them grow, and tell such a wonderful universal story. Now, that is all Texas people. Every single person in that movie are Texans. And it's directed and written by a Texan. And it's right there. I mean, they started a limited release, and now it's in wide release, and maybe up for an Oscar next year. I hope it is. I hope you get it, Richard. We don't have the most production of any state going on right now, but we're getting closer. And lots of people are moving here because we have the location, we have the economy, we have the crews, we certainly have the actors, and if we don't, they'll come here. But when you think about all the Texas actors that have done really well over the years, it's amazing.
I guess just close it out. What's advice you could give to actors that are, you know, just trying to up and coming?
Do it. I mean, it's always, it's a common thing that we all say, but do it. It's not just something you want to do. I think it's something more that you need to do. And because certainly if you're going to do it for a living. Now, there's a lot of people that want to be an actor, but do you want to be an actor and do all the work it takes to be one? Or do you just want to be famous? Do you just want to be in front of cameras and be on YouTube and have the whole world see your viral silliness? Is that what you want? Or do you really want to do what we do, which is struggle and then have a wonderful time and then struggle some more, and then it's a lifelong, and what you do is you do it, and you take those small steps, and it's just like any other job. You treat it like a job, and you accomplish each little goal until you finally get lucky and get a fun, great role that sort of makes people know who you are.
Awesome, great. Well, thank you for your time, sir.
My pleasure.
Great
my
meeting.
pleasure.
Great talking to you.
Yeah,
man.
you too. Thank you.
It was an awesome conversation.
Good job.
Thank you.